How's everybody doing tonight? Sorry I'm a little bit late. I did just get off a phone call. I was trying to get off, I was trying to get off in time, but it's okay. It's okay. We're only a singular minutes late and I'm happy to be here. Happy, what's today? Happy Wednesday, Thursday? Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to Mastermind Academy. Welcome to the final day of Hoist infrastructure provisioning with Terraform, day 6 of 6. We've reached the end of this excursion, and today we're going to be doing a little labby lab. Real simple, nice and easy. We're really going to take all the things that we've learned and we're going to do them all together in a scenario based exercise, keeping it pretty chill, nothing too wild tonight at all. Yeah, just a lot of what you've already seen, but again, we're going to put ourselves into into someone else's shoes. Well, really our shoes. You're still yourself, but as we've been doing, we'll include ourselves in a scenario. But tonight's gonna be a little bit fun. Tonight's a precursor to some of the things that we're gonna be doing. I hope everyone. Some of the things that we're going to be doing, in particularly pipelines, I'm trying to apply the same things to the other courses, but the thing I've been focusing on for the past few months is pipelines. So if you're interested in this course, you're probably going to be interested in the pipelines journey that we're going to be taking. Information about that will be, I'm making a video for it. That's what's taking so long for the announcement, but it will start the Monday, September 21st. So if anyone's interested in that pipelines course, that's when we'll be starting. It's turning into something pretty substantial, and turning into something that I'm pretty excited about. It will be all scenario based. We're going to be LARPing. We're going to be, taking the role of an engineer at a fictitious company, and it's going to be fun. It's been something we're building now, so it's going to be pretty fun. So I hope people are excited about that. But what's up, Aya? First, how you doing tonight? Yeah, so if you need access tonight, there are no slides. We are not going to go over Terraform workspaces. Terraform workspaces are important, but not important for your usage of Terraform right now. And there actually is going to be a few little building sessions with Terraform that are going to follow this up a little bit, just because I kind of realized because Terraform is so simple, or the concepts of Terraform aren't that don't really make sense sometimes without context. We're going to be taking some time to contextualize some of those things outside of a longer session like pipelines. More information about that coming soon too. Also, next week we're going to be doing a series on Git. We're going to be starting a series on Git. Haven't announced that video will drop tomorrow as well. A little bit late, but for a number of reasons. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to do it next week, but it's going to be called Traced. But it is going to be it's only going to be a 4-parter, so if you're interested in that, I'll give more information before the night's over, but all the information for that will come out tomorrow morning. So for tonight, all we got to do is hop into Notion. If you head over to the Notion page, let's see, you could go to, I can give you this link, but you can head over to Academy. Actually, I'll get the link first and then I'll send you the actual link. academy.mastermind.io/hoist, which will take you to the page for today. And let's get on down to the bottom, and then the Hoist lab is here. It's at the bottom. Do I have to explicitly share it? Let's see. No, it should be shared. Sometimes Notion is a little bit weird. There we go. Just had to refresh it a little bit. Let me go ahead and get you this. And we got our lab all set up and ready to go. But that's where you can head over to if you want to follow along. As usual, we'll give people about 5 more minutes to kind of get in, get comfortable, and so that we can work through this. You can start to read through the scenario if you'd like. It's a chill scenario, and the requirements today are actually pretty chill, but I just want to make sure that we had enough time to get through it. If we do get through it and we have some time, we can start to explore and do some other things, but we're going to take our time. We're going to look through documentation. We're going to make sure we're understanding what we're doing today. But yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. So get your editor ready. Let me close. I have all kinds of stuff open right now on my desktop for no reason. So first, let me get all that removed. Let me also put that there. Let's Spotify down, this down, Twitter down. Let's get my stream manager going over here. Oh, that did not work out how I thought it was gonna work. Let's see. There we go. And what's gonna be over on the right? Let's put Spotify over in that last spot in case we need it. But how's everyone doing today while we're getting ready? Hope everyone's doing well. I hope everyone's ready for the weekend. Oh, also, one other announcement is that I told y'all I've been cycling a little bit. Yep, I've been biking. I've been doing more and more miles. I've been posting things on my my personal IG. I've been doing a couple, longer rides, 40-45 mile rides and stuff, back to back, Fridays and Saturdays, Sunday, not every week, not every single day, but I'm getting a lot more miles in. The goal is on September 19th, which is the day after I go full time. So September 18th, September 18th is going to be my last day of work. September 19th is that Saturday. I'm going to be doing a century ride. I'm going to be doing a 100-mile bike ride, buy-in. It's going to be a buy-in for me. It's going to be, it's going to be the start to my company. So everything that I'm doing is going to be the start of my own journey. So I'm doing a 100-mile buy-in. I am going to live stream a lot of it. I'm not going to live stream it to Twitch for a number of reasons. A lot of it having to do with the path that I'm choosing and not actually having enough internet bandwidth at during a lot of the points. But at different mile markers, I will stop. I will live stream. I'll keep people updated throughout the day on my social media about my progress, where I'm at. But I'm gonna finish the entire 100 miles. I'm hoping I can get it done in about 8 hours of seat time. So what is that? That's like let me pull up a calculator real quick. I think it's like 12 and a half miles an hour. 12 and a half miles an hour. I think I can do it faster. I think that I can do it faster than 8 hours. I think that I've never ridden this far before. I'm thinking over this, I can average, I'm gonna say 14 miles an hour. It's gonna be my safe bet. So a little over 7 hours, I think is what I'm gonna try to get it done in. But yeah, so I am doing it by myself, but it is open to people. If anyone wants to join in at any part, I'll probably, I let some other people know, and some people were interested. This Baltimore Bikers Club thing, where they do a lot of rides and stuff, and people seem interested a little bit in joining in at certain points, not doing the whole 100 miles with me, but maybe as I got to some prominent points. I'm doing a circuit. I'm going to be doing the BWI loop. So there's a loop around the Baltimore Washington International Airport. It's 10 miles, like a little over 10 miles, 10.1 miles or something like that, which then you can take over to a trail from Baltimore to Annapolis. There's a paved trail from Baltimore to Annapolis. The main part of the trail is about 13 and a half miles. But I'm going to take it, it goes a little farther. I'm going to take it out to the 15-mile point, so that there and back is 30 miles. So 10 miles around the loop. There and back will be 30 miles. And then when I get back, I'll do one more loop around the BWI airport, which will be 50 miles. And I'll do that circuit twice. So I'm gonna do that circuit twice, and so there's a couple different good spots for people to kind of join in if they just want to, do a quick 10-mile loop with me, do just the 15 miles or whatever. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. We'll see. I'm training for it a little bit. I hope that I can do it. I'm gonna stop to have lunch, however long it takes me. I am going to finish it before the sun goes down. I'm gonna start pretty early in the morning. Even if I hit the wall or something, I really don't think I will. I think it'll be chill, as long as I don't try to really kill myself. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the first 50 miles pretty easy. I know I can comfortably do 50 miles really pretty fast if I need to. I'm going to take it real chill, and I think the second 50 miles is where I'm going to try to pick it up. Oh yeah, hey, hey, I'll come right around that little park too, man. We'll get there, but it'll be fun. It should be pretty fun. But cool. Let's go ahead and let's start to get ourselves in the zone. Get ready for what we're gonna be doing. What's up, Code with Sean? How are you doing today? I hope you're here and I hope you're ready for a little bit of Terraform that we got going on. So today we are simply doing this Hoist lab. And so this has been Hoist. This is part 6 of 6. Congratulations on getting to the last day of this excursion. Let's lab it up. We've learned a little bit. But let's learn how to, let's put it into context just a little bit. And Code with Sean, I'm doing great. I'm feeling really good today. I've been incredibly busy this week. I'll be incredibly busy for a while. And like I told you guys, what do I have? I have 30 days left. 30 days, 12 hours and 47 minutes before I'm on my own. Before I'm in charge of my own destiny, before I'm paying myself. And so I've been getting a lot done in this amount of time, and getting a lot ready for the next bootcamp series. So I'm excited about all that stuff, but it's been kicking my butt. Also getting things done with my job because, I'm still, like I said, I'm the lead, I'm still employed, and there's still things we got to finish up for the contract. So it has been rough, but I am doing good. I can't complain at all. So let's set the scene. Let's get in the mental headspace of what we're gonna be doing. So it's April 2020. So this year we're going back to the past, back to the just back to the past. But it's April 2020. You've been on lockdown for a little more than 2 weeks. So we are, even in this this fictitious scenario, COVID is still a thing, unfortunately. So everyone thought that this was temporary, as we all did, but it looks like we're gonna be on lockdown much longer. I don't know why I said much larger. Let's change that up right now. So for anyone who comes in later, let's I really should start proofreading my stuff, but sometimes we don't. Much longer. All right, don't even have to save it, which is nice. Let's go back to the website. Refresh. You work for a medium-sized edtech software company called Hoist. So edtech, for anyone who doesn't know, is education technology. Think companies like Blackboard. There are a bunch of them who provide technology to help people learn. But you work at an edtech company. You work at an edtech company called Hoist, where you'll be where you're raising the bar on education. That is what Hoist does. They're there to raise the bar on education. And due to the quarantines, the company is pivoting a bit and throwing some resources at a few internal projects. So at the start of the quarantine, a lot of companies had to do this. They saw a lot of opportunity. They saw that the new way that we'd be working for a little while would lend to the world needed a few new products. The world could use some help. And so you, as an employee at your company, you all got together and you realized that, hey, we need to pivot a little bit. We need to make sure that we have, we're giving our customers in the world everything that we can to help them out during this time. So we're gonna throw a few resources at it, at a few internal new projects. So you're responsible for getting them up and running. Pretty simple. You're spinning up some new projects in the company, but you're the person responsible for getting them going. You're responsible for the infrastructure and making sure things are handled. So what are the requirements? What's up, Jenny C 83? Welcome to the channel. Good to have you. Thank you so much for the follow. Good to have you. R Bishop, RB Bishop 11. Your follow was 8 hours ago, but you're brand new. Rambling Geek, thank you so much. Come on in. I hope you're here. You're probably not here, but I hope you are. And welcome. All right, so we got it. You got your headspace there. We're working at the company called Hoist. We're raising the bar on education. COVID hit. We need to pivot to work on some new internal projects so that we have some more products to offer to people in the time of need. And we're responsible for helping get those teams up and running. So what are the requirements? This new team is very proficient at developing software. Excellent. If you want to develop some new things quickly, you need a team of proficient software engineers, but they kind of suck at the rest of it. That's where you come in. They're not really good at anything else. They can write the software. They understand how to make it work. They understand how to turn business needs into into code, and they know how to solve those things via code, but not much of the things surrounding it to enable their solutions to really affect the world. But let's use Terraform to help them out and configure the following resources. So we're going to read through this a little bit. Again, all fairly simple tasks. It will be tough if you don't know anything about AWS, but again, we're sticking with AWS for this, just to keep the something we've talked about on this channel. We've done an entire boot camp on AWS, so we're going to stick with that. It's not important, it's not a deal breaker if you know nothing about AWS. We're going to be doing it together. You don't actually need to write any code at all or deploy anything if you don't want to. We're just going to be going through this together and understanding again how Terraform works and how you might use Terraform on a company to solve problems like this and how to contribute to that company. So that's all we're doing. That's all we're doing today. Rambling Geek is in the UK and it's 12:15 a.m. there. Ooh, well, that's it's late, unless you're a night owl, but that is late. But I appreciate everybody being here. You guys that sound like my team, yeah. I mean, hey, this is what it is. This is what it is. That's great. That's great. Very proficient in developing software, but they kind of suck at everything else. That that could be a gift and a curse for sure. So the very first thing is AWS users. First up, we need to ensure that there are IAM users created for each developer. No need to worry about roles or policies right now, as we're not sure which direction these projects will take just yet. Just create a user with the format first name dot last name. So excellent. We don't have a list of users, but that's what we're all here for, to work together to create this list of users. We need it to be in the format first name dot last name. When we do get there, we'll just throw out some first names and last names, and we'll create some names of developers. We're gonna, we'll pick the number of people we'll have on this team as well. So first thing we need to do is just simply get a Terraform. We gotta get a Terraform project set up and ready to go so that we can start doing these things. So let's hop into our terminal and let's get going. Let's think about, right now, as you've read the first thing, let's start stewing on the things that we've talked about, on the things that you might need to get going with the Terraform project. Very, very important. Start to think about that Terraform workflow and how we're gonna do this. So we're gonna go, let's go to Mastermind and let's go into Hoist. And let's make a new directory here called Hoist Lab. Simple. All right, and inside of Hoist Lab, now's the time to get started. Let's go back up here. Let's clear it out and let's get hoisting. So, one of the first things that we need to do is, what do we know about Terraform? We know that Terraform is going to need a file in there with a .tf extension. Terraform files, Terraform configuration files have a .tf extension. So we also learned that you can call it whatever you want, but a main.tf is generally what people use as their main file here, and it makes sense. We also learned, let's start to use some of the terminology, that the thing that we're creating here is the root module. That base level Terraform code that you're gonna be writing is called the root module, and so we are going to create our root module. And let's simply throw in some Linux skills in here as well, but let's simply make a file called main.tf and see if it's here. And look at that, we have a file called main.tf, and now we can get ready to go with it. So let's look back at what we need to do. Oh no, the stream's messing up. Is mine looks good. I'm not dropping anything. Give it a little bit of a refresh. Give it a little refresh. All right, so we just need to ensure that there are some IAM users created, and this is going to be a little bit of a learning opportunity as well for AWS. If you're not sure what IAM users are, these are simply AWS users that can log in and that can interact with AWS resources. They can log in via username and password. There's also ways for them to interact with AWS programmatically, but that's not important right now. We just need to simply create users for them. our environment that we're using is AWS, and we need to make sure that this new team is able to access AWS. So we need to create some accounts for them. We say, all right, no idea how to do that, but this should get us thinking. Terraform itself doesn't do much. It needs something in order to interact with a platform or a tool or services API to make sure things are good. So the first thing that we need to do in our main.tf file, first thing that we need to do is set up a provider. So that's what these things are called, a provider. And the provider that we're going to be using is in fact AWS. And if you're not unsure of what to do, you simply Google it and you say, all right, I know that I need a provider here. So what am I going to Google? And you say Terraform, AWS provider, maybe that's all you say right here, and it'll take you to some of the Terraform documentation. Remember, Terraform documentation, I think it's pretty darn good, to be honest. It's pretty good. So you can look through and you can try to find information on those providers. You can click a couple different links and eventually you'll come across something. Registry.terraform.io is where the docs are for these providers and for a lot of other things. So definitely keep that in mind. I'll send you this so that you can find it. And so again, the provider is simply the tool or service. It's a set of tools that kind of work within this repository to allow Terraform to interact with whichever tool that you are working with. And again, we're working with Terraform here. You can write your own provider if you need to. If you have your own custom system or something, you can write your own provider. Can you use Cognito? Yes, you can. You can set up Cognito pools, I believe, with this. Yep. Identity pools with this. I'm not going to use Cognito right now, but you can only because Cognito is just a little bit bigger of a topic. But yeah, you can do anything in here with it if you want. But yeah, so we need to set up our provider, and so we set up a provider using this provider block. We declare a provider, and let's go ahead and declare this provider. Taking a look at it, let's move it on over here. And just so that we can copy, it's okay to copy. You can copy it and paste it. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. You know, there's no reason not to Google. That's why you'll see me here. I'm going to actively Google as much as I can so people can understand that that's completely okay and that's what you should be doing. So we got a couple options here, or a couple of designations here. So what is this? This is the version. All right, we'll take that. You know, we're not 100% sure it's right, but you know, this is what they're giving us. There we go. And sorry, you'll see me mess up typing the tilde pretty often. The reason why I mess up typing a tilde pretty often is because my keyboard does not have a tilde on it. So that's why. All right, so that looks good, but I don't really like that that version looks like this. But yeah, I don't like that version looks like this, and the region does not. Very odd here. It makes me feel like I have an error, but everything seems fine. Not really sure why it looks like that. We'll see if it's a problem in a few. But I can almost guarantee you it's a problem. Whoa. Now that we have a provider set up, they give you some more examples here, but this is what we need. We're gonna need more than this, but let's start here and let's start building from this now. So what is the first thing you must do when you start a Terraform project and you get your provider in there? You need to do something to make sure that one, all the provider code and information is downloaded so that this project is set up to work with that provider. You need to install, if there are any modules or anything, you need to get all that stuff installed. The first thing that you need to do, that first piece of the workflow, is to do that Terraform init. Remember, this only needs to happen a single time, unless you add either more backends or change your backend, or you add additional providers. But yeah, absolutely, get in it. And so that's, not get in it, I'm sorry, not get in it. Get in it is a command, but we're not using get today. We are simply working with Terraform. Southern. Today we're not doing build. Today we are doing something called Hoist, which is a 6-part series, and learning how to provision infrastructure, cloud infrastructure via a tool called Terraform. And so that's what we're doing today. Build is on other nights. Until I figure out an automated way to change that by the day, that's what it's going to be. I know of a way to do it. We'll have to make a monthly list of all of the days with the thing, and then we'll have to write a little function to go retrieve what the command is for that day. But yeah. What's up, Snazenberg? How are you doing? This channel is about all things related to software delivery, digital delivery of software. So we learn, we do all kinds of classes. We do all kinds of boot camps called journeys. These are from 8 to 12 weeks, and also a shorter series called excursions, which are usually 2 to 3 weeks, 2 times a week. We stream 4 days a week, but each of those is 2 times a week. But they're all things that encompass software delivery. So software engineering and computer programming, computer science, cloud computing, infrastructure work and DevOps, SRE things. We'll be doing product management and development as well. Eventually there'll be some UX and UI design. There'll be a bunch of stuff, everything. There really will be. I won't be doing all of it. For now, I'm going to be doing most of it. But we'll be bringing in experts. So it'll be a lot of collaboration and doing things with people who are really pros. Going to be working on trying to set up if anyone's interested in AI and machine learning, working with someone right now who's really good at it, to provide some of that, but still in the early works for this. But yes, hit !Discord. The Discord is for subscribers only, but not it used to be for subscribers only. It's still set up that way. We're actually changing everything. We're changing up everything here. Discord's going to be the way we do everything, so we're actually going to be opening up the Discord. Definitely join for sure. Definitely join Discord for sure, because that's what we'll be doing everything. There'll be tons of integrations coming in for Discord in the coming weeks, but starting this weekend, actually starting tomorrow, Friday, we're spending time, a few hours working on the Discord servers. Yes, Amazon Prime subs do in fact work. Any upcoming courses on Golang? So yes, so for anyone who was in the Decoded bootcamp, part 2 of Decoded will almost primarily rely on statically typed compiled languages, mostly on Go. We'll do a little bit of TypeScript for a couple of reasons, and probably Rust, to be honest. So keep an eye on that. Yes, probably mid-September. We're doing pipelines for sure mid-September. It's still a toss-up on whether or not we're going to be doing the AWS course or level 2 in software, but people seem to be really interested in the software course, so probably do that mid-September. So I'll keep an eye out for that. But cool, we got this init in, and so again, what that Terraform init command does is it simply pulls down all the provider information, configures the proper backend. Remember, if there's no backend configured, remember, backend is what manages state and where you can save your state. If there's no backend configured, it is local. Local is what it'll be configured to. So all the state information will be saved locally on my computer. It's pretty important to remember. Yeah, very important to remember. So we kind of set that up. And we kind of got that going. We're gonna have to make an update later, but it's okay. We got that in there now, and let's take a look at what we got. So we set up our provider, and that looked good. And we could have confirmed. I don't like that it looks like this. Still don't know why it looks like that, but we could have done some other things to ensure that things were right. What could we have done? We could have done a Terraform validate first to ensure that our configuration is valid, and then we could have simply done a Terraform thumped or format to make sure we are all formatted so that things are all lined up correctly to make things look really good. AIML is my secret project. I'll have to demo once. Yeah, absolutely selling your kidneys for the AWS bill. Now, I mean, we are gonna figure out this AWS credits thing. I'm gonna get you all AWS credits. I really want to get you all AWS credits before the next the next horizons. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna get that. But you do only need one kidney. That is very, very true. I'm like 5 minutes new to this channel. Any prerequisites to follow you code? So not really. VS Code, you can follow me with any text editor. I'll be using Vim only because I'm trying to get better at Vim. I'm trying to be a better typist and get better at Vim. But yeah, I mean, VS Code, really for today, you won't be able to deploy any of this stuff because you're gonna need an AWS account and all this other stuff to get set up. So I wouldn't worry about that, but you can follow along with VS Code. If you are gonna be using VS Code has a really cool plugin for Terraform. If you wanna get all of the syntax completion and code highlighting and stuff, just head over to the extension section and type in Terraform, and it's got, it's got 58,000 downloads, so you can do that if you'd like. But I'm gonna be Vimming it up. But also, I forgot I was telling you why I did not have a tilde on my keyboard. You see, there's no 60% keyboard, no tilde. So for me to hit tilde, I have to, this is why I'll mess up. I have to hit this button and is it this, and I think shift and escape to get tilde, just because of how I set it up. But that's on me. That's how I set it up. I could have probably mapped it to another key, but yeah, I think it's, yeah, function shift. Oh no, oh yeah, that will give me tilde. First off, whoever told me about the tilde thing to be able to capitalize stuff in Vim, I've been using the heck out of this. This is the best. That's so good. And whoever taught me about the GV, oh, you guys, thank you so much. I learned so much here from you all, and I appreciate it. Okay, let's keep on moving so we can make sure we get through all the stuff here. So if you're new, I shared it, I'll share it again. I probably need a little command for you to get it, but the lab that we're running through is one that we created, and you can just check it out there if you want to follow along with what we are doing. So the first thing, we need to set up no policies. We just need to be able to create AWS users, so IAM users. So let's head over to the documentation here, and I like to full screen it to look through it a little bit easier. But the Terraform code is broken down by service in AWS. So this is the provider documentation. AWS is the provider, and we'll go down to IAM, and in IAM we can look through the resources and figure out what we want. We want an IAM user. So you scroll down and you look through them, and it can be tough to find. It can be tough to find sometimes if you're not sure which one to use. Again, simply Google it. It's okay to go to Google and type in exactly what you need. You can go in and say, Terraform, how to create IAM user AWS, or something like that. You can do something like this, and it'll take you to where you need to be. And you can try some stuff out. It's okay to try stuff out. Remember that Terraform will show you what it's going to do before it does it, so you don't have to be too worried about bad things happening. So we found this AWS IAM user section, and let's look at it really quick and see what we need to put in there. So it gives us a note here: if policies are attached to the user via this, we can already stop reading right here. Why can we stop reading right here? It's important to make sure you understand what your requirements for your task are. And right here, it says no need to worry about roles or policies right now. So, we can skip that first line. No big deal there. Don't need to read it. And then they usually give you some type of example usage on how to set this thing up. And so you can look through, and this is interesting that they give us this. Okay, so they give us this resource. Remember, these resource blocks are how you describe individual resources that you want Terraform to set up, and then you describe the things the way that you want it configured below that. And so we can look at this resource block, and this is mainly what we need. And so let's look down. So name is one of the parameters here. Path and tags are what we see here in this example. And we can see here that this is an AWS IAM user, and we can say, all right, I could use this. I could just copy and paste this if I wanted to, but we're not going to copy and paste it because we can look and see what things out of this we actually need. And so let's go and see what we need. So let's see if name is a required item, and let's go also see what other items are available to us for the AWS IAM user resource. Let me scroll down to the arguments that you can pass in. Name. is in fact required. And a little quick way that you can see how many options are required is if you highlight a word inside of your browser and then you hit Control F, it will highlight all of the same words across the page. And so this very quickly tells us there's only one required parameter for an IAM user, and that in fact is the name. So that's all we actually need. We don't need all the rest of the stuff, but we can look through and see what those other items are that they gave us in the example. The example also has a path and tags. So let's look down and see path, optional. Default is / path in which to create the user. That is helpful if you know what that means, but if not, no big deal. And you know, all these are optional. Tags, key value map of tags, great. You know, we could use that if we want. Force destroy, look at this, optional. When destroying this user, destroy even if it has non-Terraform managed IAM access keys, login profile, or MFA devices. Without force destroy, a user with non-Terraform managed access keys and login profile will fail to be destroyed. So this is just a force destroy saying, hey, whenever you do a Terraform destroy, remove this user no matter what. I think I like that. So let's add in the option of name and the option of force destroy. So let's do that really quick. And let's put this back over here. So, you know, we can copy and paste. Again, no need to spend all of your time memorizing syntax. Why memorize syntax when you can memorize, you know, how it actually works, and then you can go in and you can copy syntax every time you need to write it. That's what I do. So you need an IAM user. So that's going to be the actual resource that we're using here. After this, we are going to give it a name to be referenced by for specifically Terraform. This is Terraform's way of referencing this particular resource. And we can simply call this, let's call this engineers. How about that? We'll call this engineer for the user. All right. So that's what it's going to refer to as, engineer. That looks like it's spelled wrong to me for some reason, but maybe it's just the font. Who knows? But it needs one required thing, and that name is going to be whatever the person's name is. It's going to need to be, remember, first name dot last name. That is the requirement here. But we know a little bit more about Terraform. We don't need to go in here and hard code this stuff. Don't need to do that. So this is our first opportunity to go ahead and start to create some variables. I'm going to go over possible Terraform project structures. I'm implementing Terraform medium-sized infrastructure, and I'm struggling. Not here, not during this part. We will go over some we will during I'm getting the names mixed up during pipelines probably, but not here. Really, we're going to keep it simple. You can if you mean by project structures, just kind of the way that modules are nested, really. We can go over that a little bit, but maybe if you have a very specific question, feel free to ask away, and maybe we can go through it and understand it while we are building this out, because we're doing this completely freeform right now. But okay, we know that we know that we're going to have multiple we're going to have multiple users that we're going to need. And it needs to be formatted in first name, not last name. Right now is when I want you all to, well, not yet actually. Let's go ahead and set up. We know that we can't hard code this because we're gonna need to pass in some names basically. So what's the first thing that we're gonna need to do? We're gonna need to go in and set up a variable for this so that we're not hard coding the username. What's up, Jeffin1212? Good to have you. Welcome to the channel. So what we're gonna do, undo. Let's go ahead and let's make a new file. What's that? variables.tf. Remember, we can create this variables.tf file pretty yes, perfect. Thank you very much, Sin City. I said it looked weird to me. I said it looked dumb to me, but my brain wouldn't catch it. I was like, this definitely looks wrong to me, but there's no N, obviously. Okay, that looks a lot better to me. My brain now is not saying ill anymore, so that's nice. Undo, save. All right, so variables.tf. So how do you create variables? One, we could create variables right in this file. So if I want to create a variable, I create it just like a resource. So right here, I could say variable, and I could call it, like engineer name or something. All right, I can say like variable engineer name, and I would have to give it a type and a value. I wouldn't have to give it I have to give it a type for sure. And if we're gonna give a name, what do we think the type is gonna be? Remember, Terraform is strictly typed, just like Go. What do you think the type would be? The type would be a string for something like this. But we know that we're gonna be passing in more than one name at a time. So maybe we don't want a singular string for this. Maybe we do, because let me just tell you something. You could, I know it sounds crazy, but HCL, HashiCorp configuration language, does allow for some nice dynamicism, and you could do some cool things using Terraform functions. So let's go to Terraform functions really quick. Remember how we used remember how we did that split string function? You could pass in, you seriously, you could. Well, I'm pretty sure you could. I've never done it. I'm very confident that this would work, but you could pass in a singular string of all the names that you wanted, separated by whatever you like, maybe a comma, singular string separated by commas. You could use the split function to split them up by commas, and then you could use a for loop to iterate over the array that's created from the split to create what you want. You could do that. So you do have some options here. I don't advise you do that. I advise you use the simplest things that you have available to you. We already have a method for setting collections of items. And so instead of a string, we are going to take a, actually, I never remember how to do it. Is it list? Is it list of strings? I never remember if it's parentheses or what. This feels like it might be right, but let's look it up. Again, don't spend time memorizing syntax. Terraform list strings, input variables, types basically is what we are looking for here. And we can take a list string. My parentheses are simply in the wrong spot. I'll never remember because I don't put any energy in remembering. And again, I'm going to keep talking about that. I've heard people send me weird messages about some of this stuff, and I always tell people, hey, look, I hear you. I understand that, you want to do your best if you can to memorize this. I don't work with Terraform enough to output enough mental energy to make sure that I really remember exactly what to do when I can take an extra 3 seconds to look it up and still be just as great. But yeah, I highly encourage the putting your mental efforts into understanding the concepts rather than the intricacies of what we're doing. So we're going to want a list of strings. So a list of strings simply means a collection of strings, more than one string, or possibly more than one string. And we can set a default value, but first off, we're not going to put this here. We could put it here, no problem, and it would work just fine. But we want to start to follow some of the best practices that we learned about this, and we're going to move our variable declaration out of this file. So let's go ahead and let's move this out of here. And let's go back over here and this variables.tf file, you can undo, actually. There we go. I think that's what we want. Let's go back over here and close this. All right, you can place all of your variables in a singular variables.tf file. Now, this variables.tf file is where you have to declare your variables. You do not have to assign them values, I don't think. Last time we saw some oddities with this, but I'm pretty sure you don't have to assign them values, but you do have to declare them here. This file is not to be confused with the terraform.tf vars file. So an extension of .tf vars is a Terraform variables file, but that file is used to set values. So in that file, you cannot do this. In that file, you can only assign the value of a variable. So I can assign engineer name. I can set it equal to an actual name. but I cannot define engineer name there. And again, we'll probably do one of those just so we can see it. But you can also set default values. And so we'll set a default value here to an empty string, or just so people know what the ordering is. Let's just say first dot last. That's going to be the default. Maybe if someone tries to deploy something, they will see this. If they're really looking over the plan, they'll see this and they'll say, oh, I need to go ahead and enter in what I need to enter in. So that's great. That's looking good for now. First out last will be what it is, but this looks a little bit weird. So maybe we can actually, let's just test it. Let's run a plan and see if this is going to work for us. And so let's look over for a second, see what we missed, because I know we missed something. We declared a variable over here in our variables.tf file, gave it a type of list string, and then we proceeded to give it a value of just a string. That is a problem, actually, and I'll leave that there so that you can see it's a problem. This is if you're new to any type of programming, especially statically typed programming languages, you might not understand why that's a problem. We're about to see it in a second. But also over here, we are actually not referencing this variable at all. Let's go ahead and do that. How do we reference this variable? We reference this variable by calling var dot the name of the variable. So engineer name is what we can use. So var dot engineer name will allow us to do this. If you've seen some other examples of Terraform code, Terraform previous to version 0.12, you needed to interpolate this, so it would have ended up looking like this. So if you've ever seen this is not wrong. You can still do this. But you no longer need to do this. And I think you have to do it like this, which is annoying. You do not have to do that anymore. You can simply do var dot engineer name, and things should work. So let's exit this real quick. And let's check it out. Let's see. Found this useful. Push subscription to JSON. Nice. I had a feeling we were gonna get a little bit of Rick roll there. I appreciate a good Rick roll, and we genuinely got rickrolled. That was even though I suspected it, I didn't have to click on that link, but it was calling my name and I had to. That was good. I like it. But you also sent over a Mozilla link, and I was like, safe, for sure safe. But in the end, not safe. But how can we confirm whether or not this stuff is looking right? Let's do two things. Let's format it first. Oh no, and when we do a fumpt, it simply gives us, it does this validation for us. And so the common thing to do is validate first, but it gives us all of our errors. Make sure you spell it right. And look at that. We got all kinds of bad stuff up in here. Main.tf. Line 7, so invalid multi-line string. Check that out. Main.tf line 7 in resources. IAM user engineer. Line 7 and 8. Ooh, quoted strings may not be split over multiple lines. So we'll check out what that means. Unterminated string template. Same line 7. Looks like line 7 and line 8 are the problem. Let's just simply go ahead and take a look at what we got. And if we look at line 7, look at that. You can see it. You can just see it right there. We have an open quote, but not a closed quote. We actually don't need the first quote, and that's only there because I was trying to show you that example of pre-0.12 usage. But now, with one change, we do another validate, and we've gone from like 5 errors down to a singular error. Invalid default value for variable, and this is the one that I was talking about. On line 3 of variables engineer name, first last, the default value is not compatible with the variable's type constraint list of strings required. We gave it a singular string. It is okay to have a list of one thing. That is okay, but it is not okay if you do not make it a list. And so the list can have one thing in it, but it has to be a list. And the way that we make something a list here is to simply put a little bit of brackets around it. All you need is a little bit of brackets. You save that on up there. You get out of here. I don't know why I keep doing that, but now we need to validate, and we say, all right. Oh no, we still have a problem here. Incorrect attribute value. Line 7, name var engineer name, inappropriate value for attribute name, string required. All right, now we're having some fun. Now we're having some fun here. What this is saying, this is again, this is more programming concepts. This makes a little more sense again if you already have a good understanding of programming, but it's basically saying, hey, you tried to reference this variable here for your name, var.engineer name, but I don't really know how to use it because I need a string. But the variable you referenced is a list of strings. So I need one thing and you're giving me a collection of things. And this is because a couple of things need to happen for us to do this. For us to use a list of strings, we actually are going to need to find a way to iterate over that. When I say iterate, you should be thinking of a loop. And so we learned that we can do that with a count last time, or a for loop. But right now we can simply do it. We know that we have one item. If we just want to test and make sure things are running, I'm pretty sure we can simply reference a singular item in that list. That list has a, things in that list are ordered, they have an index. So there's one item in that list. I can reference that item with a 0 here. This is now referencing one string. Without this bracket notation here at the end, it is referencing a collection of strings. But if I do this, it's referencing the very first string. I know it says 0. That is what references the very first string. And let's save this. Whoops. And let's go ahead and validate one more time. And look at that. After all of that loving, we got a valid configuration template. It's very beautiful. Very, very beautiful. And now that we have a valid template, let's go ahead and format it really quick. Terraform thumped. Great. It didn't update anything. So we've written perfect Terraform code, perfectly formatted Terraform code. Excellent. Really, really nice there. So now we'll hit them with the Terraform validate. Wait, I don't know why I did that. Terraform apply or plan. Let's plan it. No need to apply it yet. And so it's going to go through and it's going to do what? What happens when we're doing this plan? This plan, remember, you don't have to run a plan. If you run an apply, a plan will, the plan will work. The plan will be a part of that, and then it'll ask you if you want to proceed. But what happens during this time is it checks the state. First thing it does is it goes to the back end, whatever you have configured as the back end, and it says, all right, let me see what the state of infrastructure is. And it grabs that state. We have no state. We have no state because we've never run anything. And so it says, hey, all right, I'll start from scratch and I'll set all of this up. And again, it's checking locally because we didn't define a backend. So that saves things locally, and it starts to try to deploy stuff, but it says, hey, error configuring Terraform AWS provider, no valid credentials. So I can't deploy anything. I can't test this because for us to use a provider of AWS, we simply we have to we need a profile set up. Luckily we already have one set up. There is a setting for this called profile. We've seen this before, and the profile that I have on my computer is Mastermind, and this will allow me to authenticate. This profile is a set of keys that's locally on my computer, which will allow me to authenticate with AWS. So now we've added another line here, and let's go ahead and do another plan. And look at this. It lets us know that, hey, if you see a valid plan, that means you have, valid Terraform code. Everything code wise is looking great, and you've done it. But doesn't mean it's going to work. But it does mean that, your code at least is proper for the provider and for what Terraform wants. So lets me know, hey, we're going to go ahead and create a AWS IAM user. And it's going to be called first at last, and all these other things are going to be known afterwards. It's going to add one, and you can say, cool, this is nice. I set this up, but I don't want to deploy this, but it looks good to me. It's creating a user. But now we need to, make it more dynamic. We can create one user, and again, that would work. That could work. We could also just, copy this block, yank, and paste. Whoa, undo. paste and paste, and we can paste a block of each of these. We could paste for a new engineer. So we could do something like this. Let's say we wanted 3 engineers. We could set up 3 blocks like this, a block like this, and let's go ahead and save this, and let's open up variables. And we could do something like this. So instead of first dot last, we could set up my name, Aaron.Brooks. We could set up one for Sarah Davis, and we could set up one for I don't know. I'm gonna do real friends now. Mr. Kinley Anglade. So we have 3 options here. 3 people's names in here as the default: Sarah Davis and Kinley Anglade. And we could do this. So we could set up a collection like this and refer to each of them in their own resource block, and this would work. We'll go back out, we'll plan it, we'll see that this will work. What's up, Ross Coops? Welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for the follow. Also, Triple Bat, I don't know how I missed it, but welcome to the channel as well. Thank you so much for the follow. We are knee deep into some Terraform. And just to show you that this will work, let's save both of these, and I'll keep these open, and we'll validate. Already that won't work. And it won't work only because we will have to change the name that's referencing them. So it have to be engineer, like engineer like 2 and engineer 3, because these are the names that are referencing that Terraform is using to reference these. So we can do that really quick. Darn it, I keep doing that. I didn't want to exit the file. And we could validate, and we could plan, and we can plan this out. And this time, invalid syntax. Oh, that makes sense. We're going too fast. Let me slow down a little bit. It failed because I'm out of bounds. There are only 3 options to choose from, and this actually references a number 4. So it actually needs to be a 2 because it's 0 index. All right, and so this time it's gonna add 3 names. It's gonna add 3 things. It's gonna add one user called Aaron Brooks. It's gonna add one called Sarah Davis, and it's gonna add one called Kinley Anglade. Okay, it's gonna add 3 there. And so we could do that. There's nothing wrong with this code. Nothing. There is absolutely nothing wrong with it. It is not the most dynamic code. It's not, ideal, but there's nothing wrong with it. This does in fact work, but that's not what we want to do. We want to do things right. And so how can we do this? We can do it using a count variable. And what does count do? Count basically sets up a for loop, but it sets up the number of resources that you want, but it does actually set up a loop here. It's a shorthand for a loop in Terraform. Really nice. And so we could do this. We could do 3. What's it? DG. We could say count 3. And we could do this, and what is it? Count.index. So every time the count runs, because it's a loop, it actually gives you an indexed, it gives you an index number. And so this is how you reference what current run it's on. So the very first time it runs, it'll be run 0. And so this first time it'll be 0. It'll go ahead and create this first user. Then it'll move on to the first run, and the count will go up to 1, and then it'll go to next run, and then the count will go up to 2. So it'll run 3 times. It'll be 0, 1, and 2. And each engineer's name will get referenced. So the first time is 0, second time is 1, second time is 2, just how we had it listed below. And that's how we can iterate through that list right there. So this could work. And so let's see what happens if we try to plan this out. And if we try to plan this out, what you also get from that is you don't have to manually change the ID for what this is going to be. Terraform will work through that on its own. Terraform will make this a collection. So before I had to, explicitly specify engineer 1, engineer 2, engineer 3. Now I don't, because Terraform will handle that for me because I'm doing the count. But look, it's still the correct names: Aaron Brooks, Sarah Davis, Kinley Anglade. Now, what happens? What happens if we're over here doing the variables.tf? And what happens if we add one more person here? And now we add James Bond. James Bond to the list. If we were to add James Bond to the team, welcome to the team, James Bond. But if we were to plan it out with James Bond, we would still get James Bond first, Aaron Brooks second, Sarah Davis third, but we're missing Kinley Anglade. So if we do it like this, if we do it the way that we've done it right now, our team is, has to be 3 people large, which we don't know. Our team needs to be variable. It needs to be fluid. So the way that we do that is we can simply use the count function, and we use the count function like this, and we pass in the thing that we wanted to count. Count will count the items in a collection, and that collection is simply var dot engineer name. And so it's going to simply count out how many items are in engineer name, and it's going to run through that. So no matter how many there are, it will match it. So let's save this. Let's run the plan again. And that is not how you do count, I guess. Let's how do I do count? Let's look at how you do functions. We don't want split. What we want is count. Count's probably a collections function. Oh, maybe it's not. Where? Maybe it's let's see. Is it numeric? Let's see. Terraform count. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm saying count. I don't know. I know why I'm saying count. It's not count. It's length. I'm tripping. Tripping tonight. It's length, not count. I saw the word count there. Somehow I got stuck in my mind. It's length. So you're checking the length of the collection, not the count of the collection. Similar words could mean the same thing. But we're gonna be using the length function instead, and length is a collections. Is a collections function. Common programming function to check the length of a collection, or a string. A string, I guess, is a collection of digits. So yeah, you can do that. So now it's going to check how long that is, and it's going to run it that many times. So let's check it out now. Let's plan it out again, and check this out now. Now it's going to create 4 things instead of 3. So good. Now it's got Kinley's name there, Sarah's name, my name, and James Bond's name. So that will allow us to add in the list. So that is going to be the list of our engineers for this team for the moment. And great. That's looking good. That's looking really, really good right now. And that's default. So yeah, the defaults, we changed that to default, but we don't want this to be the default. Like, we don't want to actually have to use the default here. The default, we just want it to be, let's save this real quick. I don't know how to save to the end of the line. Let's yank this. Let's can I see inside brackets? Yeah, I can. And let's leave this to be first out last. And let's make a new file really quick. Terraform.tf vars. And in this file is where we can assign values to this. And this was supposed to be engineer names. And this is going to be equal to this. Instead, so this should override the default value. We were having problems with this last time, but that might have been, again, strictly due to us using the module. But now if we plan, we should still see the same 4 items. Undeclared value for undeclared variable. Did I call it something wrong? Hold on, it's gonna create one thing. Oh, it's just engineer name and not engineer names. That's the problem. Just engineer name. So you got to make sure you type the exact correct thing. Take it through. See, it's still going to add 4, even though the default value was there. The TF-vars allows us to, you know, set up the things that we want to set up. Great. Let's keep moving because we still have a lot to do. At the end, we're gonna, right now it's not its own module. We'll modulize it and all that stuff as we kind of get a little farther. So that is first part knocked out. Actually, let's actually deploy it. Let's apply it. And it's going to create 4 of those things. Let's ensure that it happens. So look how fast that was. 4 resources created. Let's make sure, let's get logged in. If I'm not already logged in, which I am logged in, and let's go to IAM. And would you look at that? We have James Bond is now a member of our, team. Kenleon Glade, Sarah Davis, and Aaron Dodd Brooks are all now users set up where we are. So that's dope. They're really fast, super easy to set up a user. It was just created. Excellent. Can you run through the Terraform the TF-vars file? Yes. That TF-vars file simply is a place to give values to variables. So the variables.tf file, again, just take a look at it. Variables.tf has this variable declaration here. So that's where you say, hey, I want you to set up space. I want a variable called engineer name, and I want it to be a list of strings. And if I want, I can give it a default value. But the terraform.tf-vars file is where you define a value for it. So you declare the variable here, or you can also declare the variable inside of the main.tf file. So you can put it either place. You can do this block in either place, but you can assign values for them here. Instead of assigning a default value, you can assign values for those right here, if you'd like. And so that's all it's for. You cannot put this block in the TF-vars file. It will not work. So it will fail if you try it out. But that's the difference between the two. And so if I had any other variables, I could give them values in the TF-vars file. So it would just be a list of keys and values. That's all it would be. It's just a list of keys and values in this TF-vars file. All right, so now that we have that deployed, we saw that things were actually deployed to our infrastructure. So, you know, James Bond is now here and ready to go. So let's move on to the next part of the lab, GitHub. Okay, obviously we need to get these people up and running. We need to include some version control here. No one will have access to be able to create repos in the organization. So we'll need a way to do it programmatically. So we're not going to give anyone else access to be able to create repos at will. So we have to set up a way to do this programmatically. Set up the following GitHub repos. So we're going to set up some repos. We're going to set up the Hydra repo, the Draco repo, and the Blaze repo. These are dragons, not drugs or anything else, or guns or people, you know, these are dragons. Okay, I literally googled dragon names and I came up with these, but you know, these are slang. Some of these are slang, some of these are, you know, I'm young, I'm hip, you know, I know how to dab and stuff like that. You know, I know what they are. So these are dragons, and I want you to make sure in your mind that they're dragons. These repos are top secret, so keep them private. More repos may be coming down the pipeline. This is all pertinent information, and this is how information might come through to you. So make sure you're pulling these things out. You know, these repos are top secret, so make sure they're private. That's a major key. And more repos may be coming down the pipeline, and so we should start to think about how to make sure that we can, again, just like we did with the usernames, add in as many as we want to add. After the repos are ready, we'll grab the engineers' GitHub handles, and they'll need to be added to our new GitHub organization voice education. So sounds like we have 2 different things to do here, and let's go ahead and let's knock it out. Related data stream services seem to be a modern and popular method of consuming information. Could you perhaps look into something like Kafka? Yeah, so maybe not next Twitch stream, but I think that's a pretty interesting thing. So I'm not super familiar with Kafka. If I understand what Kafka is, well, we'll get it now. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole, but yeah, I mean, we'll definitely find some time to get to it. Next stream we won't get to it, but definitely it's something we can kind of get into. You can always use the CLI to create AWS resources. So yes, you can also use the AWS CLI, but if you were to create those users via the AWS CLI, you have zero documentation on them. You also have to, manage them individually from there as well. I could easily remove these users if I wanted to with a Terraform destroy. And again, I have some documentation over who these are. No, I mean, oh yeah, list the resources through Terraform. Yes, correct. Yep, you are correct. You got to dab it up. I love the stank face. I love it. Okay, so now we need to do some stuff with GitHub, and you might be checking out the Terraform code, and you might say, well, we got some stuff to do AWS, but nobody told us we were doing GitHub stuff. And when you hear GitHub, you should automatically be thinking another provider. So this is the first time we're utilizing a second provider in the same code base. And so let's look up how to use the GitHub provider. Or let's see if there is one. There is one. Spoiler alert, there's providers for all the popular tools. But we can say Terraform, GitHub provider. That simple. Go in here, should take you over, and look at this. The GitHub provider is used to interact with GitHub organization resources. The provider allows you to manage your GitHub organization's members and teams easily. It needs to be configured with the proper credentials before it can be used. Now, I knew we were doing this, and I have already, at the very least, set up my GitHub token because I didn't want to have to worry about, managing any secrets here or running through secrets management because of time. So I have it set. Think back to what we talked about how to manage secrets. You manage secrets. First, you can do it via environment variables. That's how I did it. Then you can do it with encrypted files. So you could use PGP, or you could use KMS to encrypt a file. You could actually put that encrypted file right in your repo. That's kind of good. And the last thing you could use is a secrets manager such as Vault or such as AWS Secrets Manager, but I just have it set up. I have my token set up as I think as a variable called TFVAR GitHub token, so you don't have to see it. But yeah, so to set up a new provider, we can grab this right here. And we need a token and we need an organization. And so let's get this in here, and then let's find the answers that we need. Let's go ahead and paste it in. And so you might be saying, hey, can we have two providers in the same repo? Yes, you can. You can have two providers in the same repo. In the same file, main file, not a problem at all. And so I think this is my token, and remember, this is actually syntax before earlier than 0.12, and I think we're on 0.14 or something. So we can actually remove this extra stuff here. I don't have this variable set up, GitHub organization, but let's go ahead and let's set it up. Let's actually set it up. Let's set it up also via environment variable. And so I just need this. Actually, it's probably not gonna save, but GitHub underscore organization. And so the way that we set this up, I'm gonna have to pull this off screen and set up my my other one, because that was in an old shell session. I didn't persist that, but okay, no problem. So first thing we'll do is we'll set up TF underscore var underscore GitHub underscore organization. And we're gonna set that equal to, what did I say the GitHub organization was? Or did I say? I did, and it's called hoist dash education. Let's make sure that's the case, because I could have easily copy and paste that pasted that in incorrectly. I created an organization just for today, and it is in fact Hoist-Education. So Hoist-Education, because remember, we are working for an ed tech company called Hoist, so this just makes sense. This is a brand new organization name, and so we export that variable. Remember, as long as the variable is preceded with TF_var_, all caps, and then the actual name, it will pick it up. Terraform Smart, it does the, that string parsing to make sure it has that. Now I also need to set up another thing, which is, I think, what is it, GitHub token. Yeah, I need to set up a GitHub token real quick. I'm gonna pull this off screen. I'm actually gonna need to create a new one. Actually, let me pull off screen real quick and see if I have a history of the export. History, grep export, because I don't want to make a new token if I don't have to, and I do have it. I'll rerun it. 5881, and I'll clear the screen. Whoops. I don't think you can see it. I hope you can't. You can't. All right. And I'll clear the screen. Hold on. All right, excellent. Phenomenal. So what I did is I went through and I exported the values of both of those GitHub items. So those should work now. So that's the provider. We set up the provider. What do you have to do when you have a new provider? If I were to try to set up something and do a Terraform plan, wouldn't work. And it wouldn't work. It will give me an error because I need to do another Terraform init. So again, whenever you add new modules, whenever you change your backend, or whenever you add an additional provider, make updates to a provider, you need to do a Terraform init to make sure it gets that information. So it went through and it downloaded the plugin provider for GitHub. So it was able to do that. Now, what did we say that we wanted from GitHub? It said we wanted to set up, where were we? Hold on. It said that, hey, we want to go ahead and we want to set up 3 repos. So we'll set up Hydra, Draco, and Blaze inside of this GitHub organization. Let's go ahead and let's set up Hydra, Draco, and Blaze, and let's learn how to do that. And so, it sounds like we're gonna get to do something very similar to what we did already, but this is nice. And we can look through over here through the resources that GitHub has. This is the provider documentation. And you go down and you say GitHub repository. Check this out. GitHub repository, here's an example. And we can look through here again, we can see what is required. So let's copy required. Let's do a Control F, a single required item. So just to show you that it does find everything on the page if you need it. Let's close this. If I do it on optional, I get 19 options. So I highly recommend, whenever you get to the documentation, highlight the thing that you want, which is required. This is the one that's key. Do the Control F. And when you do that Control F, you get all the required items. Name is the only required item here. So we don't actually need all this stuff, but let's see what this stuff is. Description sounds pretty self-explanatory. A description of the repository, great. Private equals true. What's private? What is private? Where is it? Private, optional, set to true to create a private repository. Repositories are created as public by default. So default is public. We said, hey, these are top secret. They need to be private. So we do in fact need this as well. What's template? Let's see what template is. Scroll down, find template. Template, optional. Use a template repository to create this resource. So it sounds like we can basically reference another repository and it will create this based off of that repository. We don't need to do that. So right now, I think we just want name, description. Actually, we don't even want, let's do name, let's do description, and yeah, name, description, and private. So cool. let's do that. And let's have a little bit of fun with this. So we need resource GitHub repository. Let's put this over to the right, put this over to the left. Let's vim our main.tf. And now instead of this resource, we're gonna add another one and scroll up or down. And we do resource, the resource name is GitHub repository, noise. And we'll call this repos, sure, whatever, doesn't matter. It needs a name, and the name, let's do the same thing that we did up here. So we'll set up a variable for it, and we'll call, what are we gonna call that variable? We will call that variable repos. Let's call it dragons. No, that's not explanatory. Let's call it get repos. It's what the variable name is going to end up being. We don't have this variable yet, but we will do that. And you know, let's take what we've learned already and let's set this up, you know, in the same way. We know that we're going to have multiple ones, so let's do the count again, and we'll check the length of this variable. Nan to lift 151. Oh, Nate, it's Nate. We've already gone through this. I'm sorry. It's Nate. I got it. Yep, I got it. 151. Lift 151. Terraform is a TF. Is Terraform, which is an infrastructure provisioning tool. But yeah, I'm sorry. We've definitely gone through that previously already. So this isn't a dynamic programming language that you're used to. This is a domain specific language for this tool called HashiCorp configuration language. But yeah, and we'll call this doesn't exist yet, like I said, but we'll call get repos, and we'll create this repos. So we'll check the length of however long this is, and count.index just like up top, and that's great. But we have another thing that we have in here. We have description as something we're going to have here. So the description is going to be interesting, and for now let's give everything the same description. We're going to just say internal COVID project, just to make it simple for now. We'll make it a little more dynamic in a little bit. Internal COVID project. And the last thing that we needed was the private argument, and we want this to be private, so we have to set it equal to true. I never remember if booleans are capital or not. Nope, they're lowercase. So private equals true, and that's all we're gonna need here for this. That's great. So we set up a resource for GitHub repository. Let's go ahead and let's set up our variables now for this. So let's open no, don't do that. Let's save it. Let's open up our variables file, and it needs to be get underscore repos. So let's copy this because we'll do the same thing. So change the name here to get underscore repos is the name of the variable that we're creating. We also want this to be a list of strings. We also want this to be a collection of strings. For the default, we'll just call it, you know, we'll just put repo. We'll call it COVID. I cannot type COVID repo. So let's try that. COVID repo for the default, but again, we're not gonna have defaults. And so now that we have this set up, let's go ahead and add those to our tf.state. So let's add the collection, not state. I don't know why I said that, to tf vars. Let's go ahead and let's set this up now. So we have engineer name, and now for get repos. Get repos is now equal to what do we say? What were the names? The names that we had were Hydra, Draco, and Blaze. Hydra, comma Draco. And we also have Blaze. Hydra, Draco, and Blaze are the names of these repos. They are the dragon repos. Bong hit, dab, and Blaze. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, so now we have those there. Let's go ahead and do a validate just to make sure we're all set up, because we added some new things. An input variable with the name GitHub token has not been declared. Oh, okay. So even though I set these via items via environment variable, I have to still declare these as variables. So GitHub token and GitHub organization really quick. Let me do that in the variables.tf. Whoops, I showed you that, but whatever. This is a fake organization. So I still need to define those things. So let's see. Instead of doing VJJ, you could do 4Y to what? Okay. There's no way. So you're saying I could do? Do I have to just get into? Do I have to get here first and then do? How do I do that? I just do 4Y to copy 4 lines? No way. I don't believe you. So just do 4Y? Nah, that's not working for me. Or do I have to do capital V first? And then, hold on, let me see. I have to do V4 Y. And then if I do a paste, no, that didn't do it for me. Oh, then capital, so 4Y. That's not, hold on, wait, undo. This is not working for me. I don't think it's working for me. I don't know. 4Y. Yeah, it's not working for me. I want that to work. I really want that to work, like bad. Oh, peace out, Snazenberg. Thanks for tuning in. Definitely go get some rest for sure. Not capital, we just P. No, yeah, it's not the 4Y is not working for me. P lower, yeah, the paste works, but 4Y not working for me. I wonder, maybe I might have a binding or something that's stopping that. So I don't know. But it is not working for me. I will definitely look into that though, because if I know how many lines I need to copy, I would love to just be able to easily do that. I really want that to work. I really want that to work really bad. Do I have to do like, what if I do this? Okay, never mind. That's not it. Okay. Y4 J to yank down 4. Let's try that. Y4J. Okay, 4 lines yank. There we go. Y4J works. And then ooh, this is good. This is good stuff. Oh man, I'm still happy. Thank you so much for even starting that conversation. I appreciate that, Nate. Thank you so much. I will remember that to the end of the time. Thank you, Cali Apollo, because that you just helped me out so much. So Git repos, what is it? See inside these, and what is the first one? It was GitHub token, and that was simply a string. And I don't think I need a default. I don't think. And so here I can do Y3J. All right. This is we're killing it now. And I think this one was GitHub organization. All right, and that's also a string. And let's save it up. And let's validate. We're there. But let's also thumped it. Let's format it. See, look at that. You know, as we get more code, obviously we're going to get to the point where we're not as clean with our syntax, and that works. So it updated the 3 of those for us. Everything should look cleaner. I mad it didn't put a space in here, but I'll do it myself. But all good. What happens if I format it again? Nothing. Good. And let's do an apply, and let's see what it's going to do now. And it's going to add 3 things, and that sounds pretty good. because we were supposed to add 3 repositories, and if we look through, it looks like it's not going to do anything with any of the users, because we already, the state already has those set up. But the new things is going to update. So it says, hey, GitHub repository, it's going to be called private is equal to true. That's good. And it is going to be called, descriptions, internal COVID project. And the name is going to be Hydra. And the name's going to be Draco. And the name is going to be Blaze. Okay, phenomenal. And we can say, you know what? That's looking mighty fine to me. Let's go ahead and hit the YES right there, and let's run it. And so this is going to create, let's go into this GitHub organization. I think this will create fine. Should host education. And look at that. Just like that, we were able to set up 3 brand new private repositories in this Hoist Education organization. Pretty simply, really nice setup. It's not, there's no code in any of them because we did not use any of the templates, but it's there and it's ready for our developers to start developing. Major key, definitely dope for that. It's also good to use relative line numbers. So Prime uses relative line numbers, and as he was running through things, I wasn't 100% sure like what benefit it provided, and that's perfect. That makes it. Are there any other reasons? But no, relative not like that is a reason. That's enough of a reason for me to start using relative line numbers. I think that makes. Oh, maybe this video tells me some of that stuff, but yes. I have seen relative line numbers. I wasn't sure what the value was, but for yanking, that makes lots of sense. I like that. Thank you, everyone. I've learned more about Vim in the last 2.5 weeks than I have in my entire Vim experience before, or the things that I've learned have been very useful. These are things that I do a lot. I've used GV, I've used capital C like almost daily since I learned those things, so I do appreciate that. 403, you need admin access to the organization before adding a repository to it. What settings? For your personal access token. Great question. So for the personal access token, we can go look because it won't show you the token. I think to write a repository, you need to go to developer, personal access tokens, test. I gave it admin org. So you just need to give it admin org to do that. And I think repo, just the top click there, I think will work for you. When I'm in insert mode, it shows me relative. When I'm in normal, no. Oh, project. Oh man. That is great, Project DP. I will have to set that up. I might spend some time doing some sweet work to my Vim config right after this. So Vim number. Oh, this is phenomenal. This is I'm leaving this up. I will not close that. Thank you so much. Yeah, I was gonna. That's perfect, Project DP. I was wondering how in normal mode how it worked for line jumping, for explicit line jumping, but that makes phenomenal sense. And I'm sold. I am sold, and I think it'll. That's phenomenal. I love it. You guys are making me so happy. It's like Christmas. I feel like I'm finally making progress with Vim. Like I know how to use. I've always known how to use Vim, but like now I'm learning how to use it effectively, and it just feels good. It feels good to make progress. That's all it is. Progress feels great. All right. So what do? We added 3 new repositories. Phenomenal, great, excellent. But there was one more thing in there that it wanted us to do. For that, it also wanted us to get their usernames. And to add their usernames, to what does this say? To add them as users to this organization. So if any of you care to share your GitHub username, I'd happily use your username and actually invite you to this organization if you want to share. I will invite my other account if need be, but put it in chat if you want people to have it. If you don't want people to have it, you know, not a big deal. We'll put some fake ones in there. But I do want to show that you can add these with real people without making real accounts. So to do that though, how would we do that? Let's do that via the, where are we at? We need, is it team membership? No, I think it's GitHub membership. Yep, allows you to add or remove resources from your organization. So I will let's go ahead and let's, you know, do the same thing, and let's add people to our organization. Got it to work? Excellent. I'm glad you're able to get it to work. But yeah, let's go ahead and add some users to here. So I'll do it with one just to show you that it works. And so we can take this right here. Here's an example usage of adding a user to the organization. And we really need to things are getting long, and I wanted it to get to this point where the main.tf file is starting to have a lot of stuff in it, because it'll help you start to understand why modules are important in making your setup modular. You know, if we just keep adding resources, we can do this. It is okay to do, not a problem, but it gets kind of confusing. But modularizing helps a lot. So let's say we're gonna add this GitHub membership, and the membership is gonna be, I have another account, which is for GitHub, but let's call this, let's call it Hub Users. Sure. And we're just gonna hard code a username really quick, and again, like I said, we'll make it a collection in a second. But Brooks8321 is my user, is my other user, and so let's save this resource and let's do it. Let's do a format, and let's do an apply. And we go through and apply. It says, hey, I'm going to add one membership to this organization. That's pretty nice. And the only reason I really want to show you this is because I want to show you how you can manage, like you can really codify your management of your tools. You can genuinely manage just about all of the aspects of things that you want to manage. And so I go to my organizations and I go into Hoist Education, and I go to people, it'll show that there is one pending invitation, and that pending invitation is to myself. This is the one that I just sent to Brooks8321. I haven't accepted it yet though. I haven't accepted it, but me running what I ran, you know, told GitHub what to do, who to add, how to do it. And it's, you know, really, really nice and simple. We don't really need to set up this piece like for all the users or whatever. Not a big deal. But yeah, I was just really, I thought this was really cool because I didn't know for a while that you could use this to manage GitHub, and I'm really gonna start using Terraform to manage many of the aspects of the things that I do, so that again I have that baseline and I have you know, I have some documentation on things that I have set up. What's up, Army Guy? How are you doing? We're doing great over here. Just wrapping up Hoist. Just, you know, running through the last bits of our lab. We're making it through. We're doing good. Let's see, what provider are you using for Terraform? So the providers that we are currently using, we're using two, actually. We're using AWS, and we're using GitHub. Because we're doing some management of GitHub. We set up some repos and added some users to the organization. But yes, we're using two providers, GitHub and AWS right now. All right, so what do we have next? Let's see. We can get through, we got through that part pretty fast. I'll just start to speed up now just because I see the time. I think we can get through these last two parts pretty quickly. Let's set up some development servers as well. We've set up some servers before. Let's set these development servers up. We might skip this piece and modularize these just so it's a little cleaner. I think understanding that concept might be a little bit more important than importing, but let's try it out. Let's see what we can get through. Chai Ryan, I set up Pulumi recently, which uses Terraform under the hood, and it's really nice with TypeScript, but the docs are meh. Yeah, I mean, Pulumi looks pretty good. We rated somebody on Monday that was using it. I've looked at it. But I haven't really done anything with it. But I do plan on checking it out. I did not know it used Terraform under the hood, though. That's very interesting that it uses Terraform under the hood. But it also makes a lot of sense. I don't know. I feel like I would never build my company. Well, never mind. I take that completely back, because that's what we do every day. We use these other vendors to make cool things. But yeah, maybe worse than Matt. Yeah, I mean, most people aren't good at documentation, so I'm not surprised there. But I'll definitely check it out. I do plan on checking it out. I think it's interesting. Okay, so let's set up these development servers. Let's read this section really quick. So each engineer that joins the team needs their own development server for, development. Ensure a server is configured for every dev that joins the team. Although we love Ubuntu, we'll need to provision Red Hat servers as certain software they need only works on there. Ensure these servers have a public IP address, and make sure you have our development key for SSH. The key name is hoist dev. So a paragraph packed with information. We've done this before. This is the main thing we've done. So we can go ahead and we can set this up in AWS. The servers that you use are EC2 instances, and so what we can do is we can look at our provider. Ooh, sorry. We can look at our providers, major cloud providers. Which major cloud, not just cloud. And we can look at this provider information, and we can get the stuff that we need. So we know we need some EC2 instances set up, and we have a base level for everything that we're going to do. I'm not going to make anything complicated. We'll take what we have already, and AWS EC2, AWS instance. So AWS instance is what we're going to need to set up. And so the resource just looks like this right here, but we're gonna have to get some information and set up some information that's here. Again, remember, if you want to check all the required options, and the way that you do that is like this, and it looks like there are possibly six required options. And let's go through 1, 2. So instance type, name, instance type, device name. Oh, so this is only required if you do the thing that's up here. So EBS block device, we're not doing that, so that's not required. These things are required for the network interface, and these are network interface as well. And this is an optional item, and this is a required item for an optional argument. So we actually only have 2 required things, which is AMI and instance type. It didn't have any it didn't tell us what size things needed to be. So we're at the liberty here of choosing our size, and again, we'll choose T3 micro just so that we can save some money. Even though, as you're doing things like this, you should take into account, hey, what do the developers actually need? Is 1 gig of memory, or however much comes with the T3 micro. Is that going to be enough? Probably not. So be cognizant of things like that. But let's go ahead and set that up really fast, and let's set this up as a module instead. We didn't do the other ones as a module. We'll make those modules later, but let's set this up as a module instead. So the way that we would set this up as a module is right here. We'd make a directory of the name that we wanted here, and we'll call this development servers. We'll call it that. We'll go in development servers, and in development servers, we'll make a file. I think I can make this a main.tf in here if I want, but I'm going to vim dev. I'll call it the same name, development servers.tf, and in here is where I can start to define the module that we're going to be using. And so I think it's module, and I give it a name. I never remember this either. Let's check it out. And I think I just need a source. I don't remember, how do I call it? Module, there we go. Module, it's called servers. Again, again, we'll give it the same name. We'll call it dev servers. Let's see what happens. And so we need to do that. And oh, that's how you call it. How do I create it? I don't even do that. I just create my resources here. That makes sense. And let's see, resource. Is it resource or is it resources? Okay, resource. Let's go back over to our instance. So let's move this over here. Resource, AWS instance, and what do we call it? We'll call it a dev server. All right. Oh, that's gross. Let's move it over a little bit. There we go. And so we need a couple things. We needed an AMI, and we don't know the AMI yet, but we will we'll check it out. But let's make this a variable. Make it var dot let's call it machine image. So the AMI is an Amazon machine image, and it's basically gonna tell Amazon what image to deploy this server off of. So really, this is how we're gonna set the operating system. But yeah, so we'll do that. Machine image is what we're gonna set for our variable. So we're gonna set up a variable really quick. And the other thing that it required was instance type. Instance underscore type. And we will make that also, a variable, and we'll call this machine type. So machine image and machine type is what we're going to create. Great. We had some other options that we needed in there. Let's look at what it said we also needed in here. We're not going to worry about public IP address right now for time's sake. Just that we need to set up let's just do well, we know we need to make it a Red Hat server, and we need SSH keys for this really quick. Like I said, we've done this before, so we can look back in here and say, all right, what inside of the AWS instance, what kind of argument can I use to set my SSH key? And the SSH key is going to be the key name parameter here. And so I'm going to set our key name parameter. And I'm gonna hard code this just because. And what did we say that it needed to be called? It needed to be called hoist dev. Actually, no. We're gonna make all these variables. Var dot machine key. What's up, large dog? How are you doing today? How's it going? It is going great. Good to have you. We're just kind of wrapping up a little bit. I mean, we probably got a little bit longer to go here, but just kind of knocking out the rest of our little lab here. And so var machine key there, and yeah, so we can configure these things. We need the AMI, the instance type, and the machine key. Does the key pair parameter create the key pair? So great, that's a phenomenal question. It does not create the key pair. The key underscore name section here only defines which one to use. For you to do that, it would have to be created or imported beforehand. There is a way to create the key, though. There is a way to create the key pair, which you can do. There's a resource for that. Let's see. There's an entirely separate resource for doing exactly that. So yes, you can create them, but there's a number of ways to go about it. You can also actually just explicitly create one using system functions, like using Terraform if you want to. But no, this is a key that already exists. All right, so because this is a module, we have this set up here. But now we need to use this module. We also need to set up some spaces for those variables. So we're still here. Let's vim this variables.tf. And if we do this, we need to set up one for variable for machine image. one for machine image, and the type, all we need for that is type string. We're not gonna set a default value for any of these. Wait, let me do what I just learned. You taught me y3 why wait why hold on, I already forgot what it was. Hold on, don't tell me y3j. Yeah, there we go. Thank you, appreciate it. Let's paste that twice. Does anyone know you know, since there's so many Vim experts here, does anyone know if when I do that, how do I paste at the bottom? Like, how do I paste underneath everything, like, so I don't have to go down? But if anyone knows, action, movement, direction, yank, 4J for down. Action, movement, direction, yank, 4J. So that, yeah, yep, I get that. So you could also, so I can also yank up. That makes sense. Oh, okay, gotcha. But yes, that makes sense. Action, movement, direction. I like that. I'm actually glad you said that, because now, you know, I think from the original command, I was memorizing the original command, not really thinking about how it actually worked, and being able to go up or down is really nice. Paste at the bottom, go escape P. Oh, wait, really? That. Oh, no. Nah, yeah, I don't think that's unless go means something else. Oh, G for bottom. Okay, all right, yeah, sure. Gotcha. Go, gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. That actually makes a lot of sense. I definitely could have figured that out. But if I hit O for new line, I have to hit escape again, don't I? Like, I can't do like GOP because it'll type P. I have to do G. Well, I already made new lines down there. Okay, not a problem. You can do GP, but then there wouldn't be a space. Got it. Okay, got it. All right, machine image, machine type, and machine image, machine type, and machine key. Great. So now you can say, hey, all right, but you didn't set any default values. I don't think I have to set default values. I shouldn't have to set default values, but the way that I declare them though is now I need to use this module in the main.tf, and I'm gonna vim main.tf, and now I need to, you know, actually call the module. And I never remember if the module name is what did I call this? I think I called it dev server. And let me check. I don't know what I called it. So I think I called it, yep, dev server, I guess, is the name of the module that I want. And I give it the source. And I think I can set the source equal to just the name of the folder. Development servers, I think, is all I need, is the location of it. I believe, maybe I'm wrong, we're about to find out right now. But what I also need to do, instances, I don't need this. That's a resource. I need servers equals 5. Oh, maybe I need to do this. But let's see. What I do need to do is set the values also for these. So I can set them here. So if I want machine image, I think I can set that here. And so we need to get the machine image. Easiest way, easiest way if you're already logged in. There's sites for this. There's tons of ways you can do this. Everyone has an opinion on how to get this. I'm telling you, I just don't think there's any way faster than this. For me at least, if I'm logged in already. to grab the AMI that I need. So we need Red Hat, remember, so I'll take that, and I will set that machine image. I'll also set machine type, and I'll set machine type equal to t3.micro, which is the size that I want, and I'll set machine key to hoist dev. So instead of specifying them in that TF-vars file or anything, I can specify it right here in the module, and then right here. Maybe this will work, maybe our module is proper, maybe it's not. But how can we check? We can do a Terraform validate to see where we done messed up, and of course we did. This module is not yet installed. Run Terraform in it. Remember, whenever you need, whenever you create a new module or install a new module, or backend, or change the backend, or add a new provider, you must Terraform in it. So let's check that out. Does it need the file link? Maybe. Yes. Maybe I give it a // instead. I feel like I've seen it before where it didn't need it before, where it didn't need the // but sure. I think it just needs a folder link and not the file link. And so that worked, and let's validate. Okay, and let's format because I know it's all weird. And let's go ahead and try to apply it and see what we get. But I can't remember what we're trying to do. Oh, we're trying to do a single instance. So look at that. It looks like it's going to spin up a singular instance for us. We don't want a singular instance. We want a number of instances. And so I think, well, for now, we'll leave it at that because we only have 3 minutes. And I do want to kind of do the last section. Mostly just wanted to show you how to do a module. So what you will need to do here, though, is I'm going to push this code in a little bit. What you'll need to do is apply the logic that we did in the main.tf for looping through like a collection of names and stuff. And we'll need to do the same thing here. So I actually wonder if you can do like we could probably also do like a for loop from here for the module and do it to where they would have different names and that we would give them the names of the engineer or something. Maybe you could do that. There's a lot of options you have for that, and you know, having it not be perfect is kind of nice. Gives people time to do some of that stuff. Now, one of the last things that let's try to do the last piece. The last piece is simply that we have old data. There has been a MySQL database created and the new AWS account in RDS. It houses data that will be used in the development of these new applications. It was provisioned manually, so its management needs to be brought under the umbrella of Terraform. Do your thing, boss. That's the last thing that we need to do, and we need to do a Terraform import. We need to take this existing item and import it into what we have. So let's take a look at it and let's see what we have here. And we'll go to DB instances, and look at that. We have this hoist DB1 instance, and we need to bring this underneath our management with Terraform. So it's the only thing that already exists. It has data on it that I don't know why we wouldn't be able to just create a new database and import stuff on there. Don't ask questions, just we got to do the thing. And so we need to use that Terraform import command. And remember that Terraform import command is a little bit different. And so what we have to do first is we have to set up a space for this thing. And I hope this works. I've actually never imported a database before. So, you know, hopefully this works. But what we first need to do is just set up an empty resource for this. So I'm assuming we just need, do we need a cluster or an instance? The problem is right now, it creates a cluster by default. So what do we have here? Let's see, databases. Let's just do the database. Let's do DB instance. Let's try this out. Let's see if it works. Let's give ourselves the best shot we can give ourselves. And let's try to grab in this AWS DB instance provides an RDS instance resource. Cool. We'll try this out, and again, we'll go down here. It looks like we can just take resource and AWS DB instance default. So let's take this and let's put this in our main.tf for now, our gross main.tf, the nastiest main.tf out there right now. And let's close it, and let's call this legacy DB. All right, legacy DB is what we're going to import. All right, and so the import command needs to do, so first you have to create a empty resource for the thing that you want to import. Remember, imports only allow you to import a single resource at a time. You can only import a single resource at a time, and remember that importing it does not update your configuration. All it does is pull that resource's state into where you are. So we need to run the Terraform import command now. And I actually don't know what information I need here. I think it's Terraform import, and then I think I have to give it the name of the thing I want to import it into, which was legacy DB, I think is what we called it. And then some type of identifier. I'm going to assume it's the AWS ARN, the ARN inside of AWS for this. Let me see where I can find it. They probably won't give it to me easily. ARN, maybe this is it. If not, we'll Google it right after this. I just want to see if this works. And resource specification must include a resource type and name. So let's see. Terraform import. See the example they have. Import guide. I know they have a bunch of crap here. Import Docker. Oh, it needs a. So yes, it needs. Hold on, it is missing something. I need this AWS underscore DB underscore instance. And that needs to go right here. AWS underscore DB instance dot legacy DB. Oh, look at that. Okay, I didn't expect that to work. Cannot import non-existent remote jobs. I don't know what that means. It feels like it did it though. Importing from ID on AWS DC instance. Import prepared. Prepared. AWS cannot import non-existent remote. An existing object provider detected. No object exists with the given ID. Only pre-existing objects can be imported. So maybe the ID is wrong. Let's Google it real fast. Terraform import RDS. I wonder if I have to import the cluster. Oh, cluster instance. I wonder if that's what I have to do instead. RDS cluster instance, because I think this is by default this is but it says this doesn't exist. This ARN, what did I paste in here? ARN AWS. That looks right to me. Let me just make sure I have the ARN correct. That looks proper. Let's try this really quick, even though I think this is the same thing. I just want to see if instead it needs this, or if it needs to be a cluster DB. But it's close. It's really close. Expect the ARN for resource type DB, but got cluster. So yeah, so I think I need to import the entire cluster. And so I actually think I need to change this from a AWS DB instance to a cluster instance. And let's try importing the cluster instead. Resource. Before importing this resources, please create this. Oh, I think I actually think I messed it up. Does not exist in the configuration. Oh yeah, because I did like that like half import. I think I broke some stuff. Interesting. Let's I actually don't know how to get rid of that. I don't know how to remove that from the state. That's weird that it didn't work. It didn't work, but it still imported all that into state. Very, very interesting. Maybe I should have backed up the state beforehand. Let's see if we can fix this. This is good real-time problem solving. What's up, Maze Kara? How you doing? Welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for the follow. All right. These are the real problems that you do run into. So it looks like the original import like half took, even though it gave us an error. And so when we try to change it, it's giving us another error because it's saying, hey, like you are you imported this DB instance, legacy DB, but you didn't configure it anywhere. Like you didn't actually write the configuration, so we pulled it into the state, but we didn't configure it at any time, which is really interesting because yeah, which is really interesting. So I wonder if the way to get out of it is to simply configure some BS and then remove it. But I don't know. Let's check. What's up, BBytes back? We are simply wrapping up our Terraform lab. Our Hoist lab. You can check it out here. Yep, it's in Notion if you need it. But yeah, if you ever want to run through it on your own, we're on the last piece here. We were importing a database, and Terraform did some weird stuff to us. Actually, this is not something we did completely wrong. Terraform, we tried to do an import, and look at this. Terraform started to import something. It actually did refresh the state for this item, so I could tear down this one item if I wanted to, I guess. And then it says it can't import it, but it is now a part of the stuff. So what we can do is, I think I can simply can I do like a Terraform destroy? Can I do this? No such file or directory. Can I just do it like this? Terraform destroy individual resource. Maybe this will work. Give me a real answer here. One specific resource with a TF file. Oh, dash target. Okay, there we go. Maybe this will work. It feels like it's gonna be dash target, but okay, so all right, excellent. So let's now let's run. Oh, you know what? I may not ever have had a problem. Unknown AWS cluster instance. I may have never had a problem. I may just never have changed, and I don't think I ever changed that, which would have been a problem, but not a big deal. RDS cluster instance. Let's try that. Or am I doing the whole cluster? Actually, let me see. Let's try cluster first. AWS, RDS. I think cluster instance, if we went to -1, actually no, we need to change it in the main.tf. I think if we do a cluster instance and not the cluster, we have to do it with this one. AWS RDS cluster instance. I think we have to actually refer to that cluster instance, and no, that did not work. Let's actually look at it. instead of stop, I don't want to guess anymore. What is a cluster instance? Provides cluster instance for a single instance in RDS cluster. That should be this one that we've done. What if I just import the entire cluster? Let's try that as well. I know I don't want to guess anymore, but then I'm guessing anyway. This should be the right thing though. I assume this would work because this was a singular instance in that cluster, and again it does actually import it to the state, which is weird. It does, like, I've actually never seen this before. It changes the state. It actually does accepts this ID, the ARN, and it changes the state, but then it doesn't. I don't know, it's really weird. It's really weird to me. RDS let me do dash target. Super odd, super odd. But let's I don't know if it should be, because like I think the problem is now these do get automatically created as like as a cluster, like by default. And so let me try to pull in, let's try to pull in the cluster. Let's pull in the cluster. What's up, Sully? How you doing? Thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. You're the greatest, man. You've already supported us more than we could ever have imagined. Thank you very much. I wonder if we have to do that as optimization. If so, really the missing piece. Yeah, it's possible. It's definitely possible, but not really gonna worry about it, to be 100% honest, because I have to go. I have something that I have to do before midnight, unfortunately. But yeah, maybe see, I'm gonna push this up to GitHub really quick. Maybe check it out and see if you can do it yourself. So what we'll do is let's actually make one of these repos not private, and let's actually push this up to one of the repos. How about that? It's actually kind of weird that it will be managing itself, but I say let's do it anyway, because it doesn't really matter. And so let's go ahead and mess with our variables.tf. No, our TF vars. Actually, we need to mess with our main. We need to mess with our main.tf. Let's make it not. Let's make these repos not private. And I wonder what happens. I wonder if it has to destroy them to make them better. To make them public. Let's go ahead and remove that line, and we'll remove anything from the okay, there we go. So it's going to change the 3 of them. One to add. What's it gonna add? Oh, it's gonna add it. I forgot we never deployed the instance. No problem. Let's go ahead and modify these repositories. Let's see if these repositories are now public. Let's check that out. Repositories. Look at that. No more. We'll make this one hide Blaze. We'll make this one Blaze because it's first. We'll call this one Blaze. And let's go ahead. And let's push this here. So get in it. So this, if anyone, we're gonna do again next week for anyone who's new, who joined in a little bit late. We're actually gonna do a 4-part series starting next week on Git. The little announcement, little teaser is coming out tomorrow about it, but it's gonna be called Traced. And it's going to be a 4-part series for Git if you're interested in learning how to do Git. But here's your quick crash course for creating a repo. So it initializes it as a Git repository. What that does is it gives you this initial Git configuration. Then we're gonna do this that we got from GitHub, which is gonna tell Git where to push this to. I need to add everything. I shouldn't have added everything. How do I remove what is it? Get RM. RM. Yeah, I'll just get reset. Yeah, that makes sense. I just want to main. I should just make a get ignore, but you know, I like to make my life as hard as possible. We don't need TF state, but we need TF vars, and we need variables.tf. Yeah, there we go. Get commit -m. What are we calling this? This was our lab. Voice lab progress. Then, you know, we made it a fair amount of the way through. We got a lot of stuff done. There's a lot of optimizations that can happen here. And I encourage you to try to do this on your own. Maybe set up your own AWS account and stuff, and see if you can do some of this stuff. Or just use it for reference to maybe do some stuff locally with with Docker or something else, or whatever platform you are familiar with. All right, so this is a public repo now, and now you can grab it. You can check this out, Blaze. You can check that out here. From Hoist Education, from this organization that we made. Feel free to pull it. Feel free to do whatever you'd like with it. Yeah, see if you can wrap your head around what we've done. But hopefully what you did get out of this is that, one, Terraform is a great way to be able to codify your infrastructure, to be able to manage your tools and your infrastructure and your assets via code. Really nice. What does that give you? That gives you free documentation. So if I were, joining this company, I could hop right into this repo and say, you know what? I can see, one, immediately that we're using AWS and that we're using GitHub as opposed to another version control tool. I can see that we're setting up some IAM users, and I can see that they're, using these variables, and I can go see what those variables are. So I can see what IAM users should be set up. I can see that we have repositories. I can see that we have a development server. I can see the AMI, so I can find out what it's running. All of the information is here for me to read and to be happy about, which is really nice. Also, this means that I can essentially version control my infrastructure. So the same way that you manage your code base, you can manage your infrastructure as well. You can push it through CI pipelines, so that's great as well. If you're not familiar with CI pipelines, we're learning in pipelines. We're also building a CI pipeline right now in the build series, so come on back on Mondays and Wednesdays. No, what's today? Tuesdays and Thursdays. Come back tomorrow. I forgot tomorrow's Thursday. Tomorrow we'll be trying to finish out some of the pipelining we were setting up there for build. But yeah, hopefully you can see that Terraform in particular allows you to codify many different type of resources. The thing that allows you to do this is through providers. So providers are the things that allow Terraform to speak to the APIs and communicate with the tools at hand. You can create your own provider, and maybe we'll do a session where we are building our own provider for something. We're gonna have to build our own tool first for a provider to make sense. Or we'll try to, or we can also build our own provider to speak to existing things. We don't have to use AWS's provider. We could build our own provider for AWS if we wanted to. It would be difficult, but maybe we could do it for a couple of services or something. We could try that out, but that's great. This is one of the reasons why Terraform is so popular, because of providers. There are other tools like CloudFormation, but that's AWS specific. People talk about Terraform as a multi-cloud tool. Yes, it is multi-cloud in the sense that it can interact with different clouds, but it does not mean I want to be very clear, because so many people believe this, that you can write code one way in Terraform and deploy that those resources to every cloud service provider. It does not work in that fashion. You've got to, understand how to use each provider. Hopefully you learned a little bit about modules and learning how to modularize your code and kind of move things into their own kind of isolated pieces of functionality, and having your main file simply be to call the things in those modules with their configuration, which is nice. Learned a little bit about how to create variables and how to use some of the functions like count and length to make your templates a little bit more dynamic. Your templates can get very, very dynamic. And again, the only way you'll get there is through practice. But again, it's hard to practice until you know a platform to use it on. So again, I encourage you to use it with what you know. So again, if it's Docker, if it's GitHub, if it's whatever, look through those lists of providers and see if you can manage a platform or tool that it'll really help you understand the paradigms of this. Learned a little bit about secrets management. We learned about state and backends, and that backends essentially help you manage your state. It's where state is saved. We know that by default backends are local to your computer, but there are things you can use like S3. We learned about state locking, which will set it up so that the state is only writable by one thing or one person at a time, which makes sure you're not stepping on anyone's toes when multiple people are working on the same code base. And today we ran through, we learned a couple other things, but today we ran through, a nice little scenario of some things you might do on the job. And I'm telling you, these are very much things that you would do on the job. You set up users, you would set up development servers, you would set up GitHub repositories. You might be pulling in, again, you might be importing some old infrastructure that just simply cannot be replaced. And so you might need to pull that underneath your flag, underneath your management inside of Terraform. There's a million different things you could be doing with this. So hopefully you got a little bit of a better handle on Terraform. You should not feel like you're an expert at Terraform right now at all. That's not the goal of this. Again, the goal is to show you what this tool, what problems this tool solves, and how you can use it to do some cool things. And then, if the time comes now when you go to an interview, you can start talking about Terraform. Even if you barely know how to implement anything with it, you can say, hey, I know Terraform can be used to manage resources, web resources with a number of cloud service providers or software providers, which will allow you to codify the resources that you want, the infrastructure that you want, and its configuration, and you can use that to manage these things. You can spin things up, you can tear things down quickly. You can because it uses state to manage what's going on, you always know the current existence of the resources that you have, and it'll only update the things that have changed, and it'll handle all that for you, and so you can just start talking about it very high level like that if you need to. But we will use Terraform again. We will use Terraform probably very heavily, not even probably, I mean still going back and forth with a couple of options for pipelines. But again, because pipelines is the course that got moved back. Again, pipelines will start September 21st is when that'll start, Monday, September 21st. But it'll be bigger, it'll be grander, it'll be more in depth, and it'll be more focused, because we had to push it back, spend more time building it. And it's actually a very different experience than we've done here at all so far. So it's gonna be exciting. I'm excited about it. It's a little bit ambitious, to be honest, but I think we'll be okay. And I think it'll be better for you all. I think it'll be better for learners. I think you'll learn a lot more, and I think you'll have a lot more resources to help you through the process as well. So keep an eye out for information about that. Again, GitHub stuff is coming in hot for next week. So Monday we'll be in with Traced, a 4-part series in GitHub. So only 2 weeks for GitHub. We could have pushed it to 3 weeks, but didn't need to. 4-parter is fine, and we'll get hands-on. We'll get hands-on with each other. I'm sorry, that was truly an accident. You know what I mean. We'll get hands-on together as a group with Git, and we'll push some stuff to GitHub. We'll understand how the Git how Git workflows work. We'll dive into actual Git workflows. We'll practice some actual Git workflows but also we'll learn how to get out of jams. We've created some artificial scenarios which put you into some weird Git jams. Everybody thinks Git is, you know, pretty simple because it's pretty easy to get started with Git, but when you are working with a team, Git is wild. Git can be super intimidating and super problematic, so we will learn how to get out of those jams. But that's it. Come on back tomorrow for build, so where we are building our open source course authoring tool. But yeah, no, go ahead, ask away, Aya. We're not you know, I'm in a rush, but I'm not in a super rush, you know. I have some stuff I gotta finish before 12. Absolutely large dog. Let's see, how you doing, Thorn Metal? Welcome to the channel tonight. What's up, Sankofa? One, good to have you, even though we're wrapping up. How do I avoid pushing my provider info? It says it's saying too large. Gotcha. So the reason why it is saying that is because you are pushing, and you saw what I did when I had to do that reset. The reason why I did that reset is because if I do a git status, it's because you pushed this folder. You've got to remove this folder from your, like, you shouldn't push this folder. So I would create a git ignore file that or just remove this from, you know, you can delete this folder. Well, it's still going to be kind of weird, so you're gonna have to like do a reset. So you can try that git reset if you want. But yeah, don't push this folder. Yep. And that will keep you from pushing that provider info. That's a great question. And those are the types of things we will learn in the Git course. The Git course is easily the most immediately applicable and ultimately probably the most valuable course that we'll do, to be honest, like ever. Git is just such an essential tool for all the things that we do. Like running through some of this stuff is just you know, I was going through some of the stuff. I was like, man, I really forgot. It's been so long since I've run against this kind of problem because of the place that I work. The bigger the teams you work on, the you know, you'll run into different types of problems. And I haven't run into some of these problems in a while. I was like, man, like some of these can be a real pickle to get out of. So it's pretty cool. But that's it. Who are we heading over to say hello to this evening? Let's go ahead and see who's online in the science and technology section. Who do we have tonight? Let's see. Anybody we know up top? Lucky Dev. Let's get pulled. Check out my fix kit RM. Yeah. Oh yes. Okay. Get pulled and get check out. Yep. Because or else it'll just, even if you try to just RM it without doing that, it'll keep trying to push it. So thank you so much, an anonymous chair, for the bit. Phenomenal. You know, your name's always on brand. Thank you very much. Really do appreciate you. This person's learning Python. What's up, Doug Muffin? How you doing? How's you're in Maryland now, right? How you living? You know, it's okay. Not a problem at all. You know, I know where your heart is. Let's we already hit them up. Let's see who we automate this Paramount with. I don't know what that means. Hanging out an interview on Monday. Dope. One, good luck. Everybody sends your good vibes over to Thug Muffin for his interview. Yeah, good luck. Let us know how it goes. You'll do great. You'll do great. So next is my manager. Perfect. Excellent. That's dope. Again, we'll be sending all good vibes your way. This is so hard sometimes. Isaiah by Dea. I think this guy has rated us before, so we'll go over and say hello. Especially since I'm struggling to find someone. So let's get ready to say hello to Isaiah by Dea. Isaiah by Dea. And again, I'm off to go get a little bit of food and to finish up the stuff that I need to finish. Thanks everyone for being so patient with me. I'm sorry yesterday that we were not able to stream, but again, like I said, we'll be back tomorrow with build, where we'll actually be building and finishing out that pipeline. But let's go say hello to Isaiah. Everyone have a great night, and I will see you later. Tech interviews exhausting. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Video is at least spread out. Yeah, we're, like I said, man, good luck. We're sending all the universe good energy vibes your way. But peace out.